What's up, Rockstars? Today I'm going to be talking about the death of great deals on Kickstarter, or GameFound, or really anywhere you're buying board games. Now, as always, a huge shout out to my patrons and YouTube members for their financial support. It is through them that this channel is possible. I make these videos for you guys. I'm able to make the videos I make and focus on the games that I focus on because of their support. They are the foundation for this channel. If I have helped you at all and you want to give back, or if you appreciate the content that I make, even for $1 a month, there's a link down below and I greatly appreciate it. It helps out a ton, trust me. Alright guys, now before I start, I gotta tell you about my latest addiction, Ace Defender. They are sponsoring today's video and I am in over my head. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. What I want to let you guys know is there is a link down below to go ahead and download it. If you do join up, you get 10 free recruit tickets, which is awesome. It'll get you started. It makes the starting a lot easier. You won't even feel the need to spend money right away because there's literally no reason. You're powerful and you got all this stuff and they're constantly giving away free stuff. It's super cool. Look guys, I recorded this footage that you're seeing and I kind of kept playing. I forgot I was recording and I recorded 17 minutes before I stopped recording and then continued to play until I was at a good part to stop. I'm starting this video late because I'm addicted to this game. So I'm serious when I say that it hits all the right, it checks all the right boxes. It's a lot of fun. It's not only does it have turn-based RPG, kind of a solo player thing where it's 40 plus chapters, there's 2,000 levels. There's a lot of content there, right? But then it also has this cool tower defense mode that I really like because you can choose who's going where, and some units slow people down and some units do that. It's just a lot of fun to do that, and then of course to level up and get your favorite characters stronger, which is nice. It's really easy to recruit and then rank them up, and then all the other stuff. In a lot of games you get a lot of trash, and this one you don't because that's used to actually increase your other guys. So very, very good stuff there. They're releasing 2 new heroes a week. There's 5 different factions you can do from. There's nature, and there's Shadow, Demon, Divine, and Light as well. And those come into play. You get different bonuses depending on what you do. So it's actually fairly in-depth when you dig into it, but also quite casual just to play and just kind of have a little bit of fun. So that's a lot. That's really cool too. So they have the Expedition. That's the 2,000 levels. That's huge. Then they have the PvE stuff where you're going through dungeons, or there's a tower things like a Mortal Kombat towers and stuff like that that you can do. There's arenas for PvP and stuff. There's alliances. There's a ton of stuff. It's really, really cool. And it doesn't even waste your time. So you get idle income. So even if you are busy, that's fine. You're not going to you just get to have a more enjoyable time when you do load up the game. And then they also have 4x, 1x, 2x kind of speed, and you get even a skip button on some of the RPGs where you can just do an auto resolve in a Total War game. Guys, this has pretty much everything I want in a game. It's just fun. It's got a little bit of gotcha, but in an enjoyable way. They're giving you tons of stuff. I've been having a blast with it. I'm serious about this. So if you are like me and you're into this kind of stuff and it really is something you can just do on the side while you're setting up a 3D print or while you're waiting for the game to be set up or anything like that, I literally whip out my phone, play for a little bit, and have some fun. There's a link down below. Helps the channel out. It'll help you out unless you get really, really addicted, in which case I'm sorry. But I can't blame you because that's me right now. So link down below to that. You'll get 10 free recruit tokens. So you'll get all these cool units and all that stuff. Trust me, it's a lot of fun. All right, now let's go ahead and dive into the video because this is an important thing to talk about. Okay. So I'm going to start out going back in time essentially to what I would consider more of the glory days. So before Conan, really, there was a few big hits. But Conan, I feel kind of snowballed a lot of things because shortly after Conan, you started getting higher and higher stuff. Zombicide started breaking 1 million, all this other stuff that, Conan, I think, was the 3rd board game to break 1 million. It was one of the early ones, but it was kind of sporadic before then. After that, that's when it got a lot of attention, and I don't know if it's because of the IP or I'm not sure exactly what, but that's when a lot of people started hearing about Kickstarter. It's when a lot of people started kind of going over there and looking, hey, what's going on over here, especially for board games. And so the Glory Days isn't quite that, even though those were great deals, because there wasn't a whole lot of good stuff coming out. But you come to like their next one, which was Mythic Battles Pantheon. And this is kind of the example I go to show like you get a ton of stuff for freaking dirt cheap. And I mean like substantial stuff. I'm not just going for like the most money miniatures or a high card count or anything like that. I'm talking like gameplay wise, there's a lot of different things, whether it's game boards or cards or scenarios or minis or, you know, there's all these different upgraded dice and an app and all this stuff, right? Unlocking a lot of stretch goals, blowing past 1 million, being this big deal for cheap. And one reason it's a good example is because then I can look at Mythic Battles Ragnarok and show you the difference. And Mythic Battles Ragnarok kind of eked by a little early when it came to like the VAT thing. It kind of eked by when it came to like the shipping thing. So then we're going to look at something much more recent that a lot of you guys may have just bagged. And I'll show you again the difference. So, and this isn't to say that anything's a bad deal. It's just that we used to get better deals, which, you know, is kind of, I mean, used to buy Coke for 5 cents. So I get it. But I really want to, like, I hear a lot of people talking about how, like, oh man, this is like, there's just not any good deals on Kickstarter anymore. And I want to kind of dive into maybe a little bit why. So let's start out with Mythic Battles Pantheon. Base price, and by the way, guys, there's like, you guys know how the pledge tier works, right? I'm going for just kind of like the basic core plus stretch goals with minis, right? It's kind of how I'm going to compare all of them and kind of normalize it. And because it's the most common one, 11,672 people backed the God Pledge. Okay, so what is this God Pledge? It's just Apollo core box stretch goals. What is that? First of all, it costs you $99. So sub $100, I'm gonna buy $1, for this pledge. Okay, so it wasn't 120, it wasn't 150, it wasn't 108, $100. Got you all of this. Okay, and I'm gonna actually flip between this and Ragnarok because I think this is important because it's so close. Okay, so you get the core box with 6 scenarios. Go to Ragnarok. And you'll see down here, there you go, 6 scenarios. Okay, so we're at the same, 6 scenarios. You get 4 gods and 5 heroes and 4 monsters. Here you get, scrolling back up, 4 gods, 5 heroes, and 4 monsters. 2 kind of more regular, 2 larger. I mean, it's even kind of similar size-wise, stuff like that, right? Then you get 24 troops, but they're counting the individual minis here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 troops. Or groups of troops. Same here, 6 troops, 24 miniatures. Okay, so again, right now we're like neck and neck. It's the same exact thing. 13 character dashboards. Well, guess what? 20 dashboards. Or 13 dashboards with 20 stat sliders. So my apologies. So 13 and 13, you get the Umphalos versus you get the runes. You actually get the same amount, 15, the engraved dice versus the special dice. Again, special custom dice. 146 cards versus 130 cards. So this is a little bit more in Pantheon, but not like marginally. Nobody cares, right? 2 double-sided battlefields. I think that's up here. 2 double-sided battlefields. Okay, so we're still the same. 20 various tokens. Ragnarok, I think, has more at 30 various tokens. And then we have 18 3D elements, 10 trees, and 8 Stellas. And here we have 24 terrain 3D cardboard elements. 10 ruins, 12 forests, but they're not miniatures or cardboard. So a little kind of apples and oranges, both fruit, but they taste different kind of thing, right? Okay. So that is the core, right? So this costs $100, except you also got a huge Titan at 110 millimeters high. Okay. Here, this was, I think they have the price up here. If not, they have it on the side. $120. Okay. So we're talking a $20 increase for the same amount of content, actually minus some because you don't get this giant Titan in here, whereas you did in Pantheon. So you're paying $20 more already, right? But then you also have the, let me get my notes here. Oh, all right. So you have the $20 more, but then you also are not getting quite as much because you don't have the Titans. But it gets worse because there's stretch goals involved, right? Now, I want to quickly look at here. 13,600 backers compared to Ragnarok's. They're very close. 13,300 backers. 300 backers not going to make any price difference pretty much at all, okay? They're 2.4 million raised here. In Pantheon, it was 2.6 million raised. So a little bit more raised in Pantheon versus Ragnarok, but pledge managers are a lot more robust now than they used to be. So I'm going to call that even Stevens when it comes to anything Monolith is looking at financially. In my opinion, they probably ended up making more here, even with price differences. So I don't know about their profit margins. So I can't get into that. All I can do is on our side what we're looking at. And I just know that you can easily double the amount of funding in a pledge manager, especially with something with this many add-ons. So, and they tend to be open longer and, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So the stretch goals. Well, there's a lot, obviously. So here, and I want to quickly summarize this. So here's all the stretch goals you get for here, and then in here they have it listed kind of long, but here's all the ones here. What does that equal? Now I'm not going to go into how many units versus how many gods versus whatever. Okay, so Mythic Battles Pantheon had 55 stretch goals plus a Titan added, and Mythic Battles Ragnarok had 40 stretch goals, no Titan added. So that means that with shipping too, right? So there's shipping as well. Now, this is actually, again, pre-VAT stuff, so VAT was included here. So everybody looked out here. Mythic Battles Ragnarok, if we were going to go to Europe, because I'm speaking about VAT here, and that's a lot of you guys, I know. We're talking about $28-30, just depends on kind of where you are, obviously. Okay? So that is at least $148. Assuming the shipping is correct, right? For less, because you only got 40 stretch goals, not 55, and you're not getting that big Titan. The Mythic Battles Pantheon, scroll down to here, in an age where shipping was actually a little bit nicer, though again, it wasn't too much different because this was a little bit before that. We get at about $129 shipped to the European area-ish, depending again on where you live. So $129 versus $148. So $20 difference, and you get less. Okay, for like an apples to apples, same company, same kind of core box stretch goal experience, same amount of people that backed it, same amount of total raised, you're just getting less. Especially like that Titan is huge, right? He's probably about like he's like that big. He's big. Okay, so that's not him, but I'm just saying. All right, so that's a pretty good kind of comparison, but it gets worse, like far worse. So let's go take a look at Voidfall here. Voidfall had 12,271 and 1.4 million raised. So very similar backer count, which means the orders that they're putting into the manufacturer about the same. Actually even better because they have less SKUs. And we are looking at, and again, I'm doing the Galactic box. I know there's a standard box for cheaper. A lot of their, to compete with the prices increase, they are making lesser versions but these aren't as expensive when it comes to like minis or, whatever it might be that they're kind of taking out. But 500 people backed that, so nobody cares. 8,500 people, however, backed the Galactic box. Let's take a look at that. Well, it's 135 euros, which is about $160. So obviously more. We're already at $60 increased from age-old Mythic Battle Pantheon that people will remember if they were on Kickstarter at the time. Now, there's some issues here. First of all, let's look at what you get. And it's not that you don't get a lot, because you get a fair amount. But I do want to point something out here. Okay, so this is about $158, $160. It depends on the day. So about $158. And you get these triple layered space sector tiles and all you get some premium stuff and a lot of doodads and tokens and stuff like that. The main difference here is the minis. However, when it comes to the price and cost of miniatures, it's the unique sculpts that matter more than this. These cost pennies to print, but the steel mold to make it costs thousands of dollars. So it depends on how many you can fit in a steel mold. The more simple the sculpt design is, and the less unique sculpts, the less you need of that. You could maybe fit almost all of these on a build plate. It just kind of depends. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 unique sculpts here. And they have a few more. This would be a 6th. This would be a 7th. This would be an 8th. This would be a 9th. So about 9 unique sculpts. Okay. So definitely nothing like this, where it's just like a bajillion different sculpts, right? This costs a lot more money to make. Like, it's not very comparable there, okay? But so you're getting more repeats, essentially, and even still, like, a less count, like, thanks for the troop choices and stuff like that. And you get stretch goals and stuff like that, though not very many stretch goals, not a huge amount of stretch goals, though they're more, I think, meaningful than a lot of games. So nothing against Voidfall there. But it's not 40. It's not 55 stretch goals either, right? It's not each one with a unique, stats and stuff like that. So, that's what you get for 158. However, let's go down to shipping. Let's go down to that, and let's go have a party down there. Oh my gosh, these are so long. Okay. Scrolling down. Beautiful art, by the way. Man, I do good here. Okay. All right. So you will be charged VAT, which is a bummer, of course. You will be charged VAT based on your country of residence, usually about 19 to 23%. I put in 20%. That's what it says in the FAQ as well. Seems about average. Okay, so it's of your total order, so it's including shipping in there too. It's about $23 in VAT. Shipping here for the Galactic box to the Europe or whatever is around 20, 23, 37, 25. It kind of depends, right? In total, it's about $215 to buy this. So we have gone less when it comes to actually like making the stuff, right? Like you just get less content, less stuff. It's not to say it's not a whole lot, but in fact, I picked Voidfall because I think it's really close. But even Mythic Battles Ragnarok is less than Mythic Battles Pantheon. Pantheon was insane. Okay, so you get that for $215 versus $129. So we're talking like $80, $90 more than what it used to cost you, which is almost the entirety of the core pledge of $99 for the God Pledge of Mythic Pantheon. So when people talk about the deals being gone, especially Europeans, that's exactly, I think, what they're looking at here. And I mean, it's just kind of part of the times, right? It's why I'm paying over $4 for a gallon of gas lately. It's why, just everything is like how it is right now. Will this settle down? Maybe. The one thing I will say, going kind of looking into the future, is I think for the most part industries, unless they're heavily regulated by the government, which the board game industry is not, obviously, it's not like crude oil or something like that. Unless it's really regulated, they will charge whatever customers are normalized to. You see it like the video game industry, you see it in printers, you see it in all sorts of various industries, whether it's tech, cell phones is a great example. So we used to get a flagship cell phone for $500. We used to get it for even less than that, right? But there weren't really an idea of flagship, but with smartphones and stuff like that, okay? And then we started getting more and more, and suddenly there was an $800 and then a $1,000 one. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is insane. But I just watched a video where one of my favorite YouTubers looked at the new Pixel 6 for Google, and they were really excited that it was only $600 and $900. So they're like, oh my gosh, it's only $899. Hot dog. Like, that's cheap now because your mind resets, you're used to it, and you accommodate that. So will we start seeing cheaper things? I'm not sure. The big drive lately, especially because they can't compete in price, is to compete in how premium it is. So when you look at Too Many Bones and it comes with neoprene everything, neoprene mats, core box, there's no option to get any cheaper. You have to get the neoprene. Or whether it's throwing all these minis out there or doing this or making the minis larger and larger and larger and all this. It's all about being bigger and better and more quality and aiming towards the people that can already afford the high price you're going to have to charge anyway, increasing it more. It's why we see 3D terrain in Descent. It's why the core box is on an add-on. You have to get the 3D terrain. It's not, they won't sell you a cheaper version without it. We're seeing that more and more often, and I think that's why. That's the drive for Kickstarter. It's no longer necessarily look at how much you get for how cheap it is. It's look at how much you get. Don't pay attention to the price. And if that's the focus that consumers are now getting used to, plus the price points that we're getting used to now, I don't really see lowering it too much. Just kind of how things are going. Either we'll remain more premium or profit margins will increase. Not necessarily a bad thing, especially if you're the company. But it's definitely unfortunate for anybody who just needs the core box. But as you can see by the Voidfall pledges here, there's not a whole lot of drive for that. 500 versus 8,500. So 8,000 more people said, nope, I want the more expensive version. And so if you're part of that 500 group, you're in a kind of a marginal niche group that I think is a great group to accommodate for. And, I think that's awesome. But at the end of the day, the numbers are the numbers, right? So anyway, what do you guys think? Do you guys think it's going to settle down any? Now, obviously, not having VAT helps. And I only chose Voidfall because I felt it was very comparable to Mythic Battles Pantheon and Ragnarok when it comes to kind of price point and what you're getting and stuff like that. There are examples of worse things, and because VAT is percentage based, it scales with how much you buy. So if you buy a $900 all in, you get 20% on that. It doesn't stay at that $20 VAT. It just gets more and more expensive, of course, as things go. Same with the shipping. The bigger it is, the heavier it is. You're going to start getting jumps in shipping too. So I'm only looking at like these smaller core pledge ones. I was being kind and not looking at something like a Mythic Battles Pantheon all in, which is, I don't even know. We're at $569, $799. Yeah, imagine the VAT on that. Yikes. That being said, there was no VAT on this, so I guess they left out there. But yeah, I would love to hear what you guys think. Especially if you're from Europe. If you guys in Europe want to comment, let us know how you're viewing Kickstarter these days. I would love to see. According to my patrons, from what I can tell, is essentially they first check on the game, is there VAT? If there is a VAT added, then they typically don't look any farther than that. If there's no VAT added, okay, well then tell me about your game. So it's almost the gatekeeper at this point, because if nothing else, it's cheaper almost to get it secondhand locally than it is to pay for everything up front. But it all depends on the game and whether it'll be in retail and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, guys, that's it. I still think there are great deals on Kickstarter, on GameFound. I don't want to make the assumption that there's not. I'm still backing stuff, but gosh darn it, it's not like it used to be. Back in my day, we used to get far more for far less. So, all right, that's it. Guys, take care. Thank you so much. And again, thank you so much to my sponsor, Ace Defender. I'll probably be playing it while I'm editing this video. I'm like, oh, time to edit. I guess I'll go do a few runs. Seriously, it's bad, guys. Like, in a good way. It's a lot of fun. Link down below to that. Get your recruits. And there's also cool community down there, too. You can chat amongst yourselves as well. All right, take care, guys. Bye.